Are you always getting that pinching feeling right here in the front of your hip? Are you always trying to stretch those hip flexors or wrapping a super band around your leg to get that thing to go away? Now stay tuned, because I'm going to share with you the simplest way to start getting that pinch to go away for good. Coach Matt Pippin here, and over the last 15 years I've helped over 1,000 professional, collegiate, and everyday athletes move, feel, and perform at their highest level, which is why I'm pumped to share this little secret that you can use to help relieve that pinch in your hip. Now, hip impingement, aka that pinching sensation when your hip starts to go into flexion like a squat, is caused by a lack of space in the hip capsule. Now, as your hip flexes, so like right here, this is the femur head, this is the femur coming down, flexes, that femur head starts to glide backward like so. It doesn't move like those, remember those old school like skeletons with the bolt? That's not how movement works. It has to glide back as you go into flexion. And if there's inadequate space, pinching inevitably happens. Now fortunately, there is a way to create more space without surgery. Now here's the knowledge bomb, folks. If you create more internal rotation of the hip, which is simply swinging the foot out to the side, that femur head rolls in. If you get more of that, you create more space in the joint capsule. Now, every person I've ever come across who've had a pinch in their hip, including yours truly, had a lack of internal rotation. We increase internal rotation and we make the pinch go away. It's that simple. Now, to increase internal rotation, we first must learn how to stretch this movement. This is where things get a little tricky, but trust me, it's worth the time and effort. Now we're going to use the 90-90 setup to learn how to stretch it. And then, only then after you feel comfortable in that, then we're going to start to use isometrics to increase the range. So first off, we're going to get into that 90-90. Do not skip ahead. We have to master this position first. I cannot stress that enough. When you feel good and comfort and you feel the right stuff, then we can go on to the more advanced, which is where we start to do the isometrics. But you can't contract tissue if you don't know how to stretch it, and vice versa. So we're going to learn how to stretch it first, then we will go into the isometric. So please have patience here. It is worth it. Now, the 90-90, I'm kind of sitting in a miniature version of it, but basically what it looks like is this. Now, there's a lot of things that go on here, and this is probably one of the most butchered things on the internet and social media. They don't know what to feel when they get here. This just looks cool. You can do some hovers, you can do some flowing stuff. That's cool and all, but if you don't know what you're attacking, especially with the issue you're watching this video for, you're just going to cause even more problems. And trust me, I've been there. When I first learned this, I always thought I was stretching the right stuff, but I was just jamming bone onto bone, making my problems worse. After time and time of trying to play with it and working with clients, and then I was like, all right, we need to feel tissue stuff. That is the key here. You're going to hear me say tissue stuff over and over and over again. Now, a couple quick things before we get into this. In a perfect world, you don't need to sit on anything like I am right now. But obviously I got some yoga blocks here, so I'm going to show you how to use those. So if you don't feel what I'm talking about, that's when we're going to start to use the blocks, and I'll show you guys how to set that up here in a second. But first, see if you can do it in this position without the blocks. So right now, we're going to attack the left leg, because that's the beauty of this. He's an internal rotation already, he's an external. If you're already here and you feel like your hip's going to explode and this is super uncomfortable, pause. Grab the yoga blocks, and we're going to put those underneath here in a second. So we grab them, take one of them, you're going to put it under your right butt, and then grab that other one if you can, and that way you just got a little bit bigger support. And now look, this looks super easy now. Once you do this, now you're just going to feel like you're not having a panic attack with your left hip, right? So take your time, make sure if you need these, go ahead. If you don't, all the same things I'm going to say right now apply to this position. It doesn't matter. So from here, we got right leg out in front. He's bent at a 90-degree angle. The ankle is at 90, the knee's at 90, and the right hip's out in front. Now, this shin is parallel to the left thigh, and then I have this beautiful line. So in a perfect world, everything looks at 90-degree angles, hence why we call it 90-90. Now, if even this position is a little too much, we just have to lean away a little bit. So now we're going to start to attack this leg. And the way I break this down for my clients is we have the femur bone here. Okay, you can just see there's a bone right here. I want to feel stuff on the back side of the bone. I don't want to feel stuff on the front side. And that's where the details come into play, because just manipulating your hip a little bit will make it so you feel more backside stuff. So keep that in mind. Don't worry, I'm going to keep saying it over and over and over again because it's that important. So from here, we're going to start to lean back. You see I have this nice straight line between my knee and my face. Now regardless if you have the blocks or not, this applies. I'm going to lean back and I'm going to rotate my left arm over. And from here, it's like I'm trying to drive my left butt cheek down to the floor. Now from here, if you already feel a stretch right here, awesome, that's what you want. If you don't, you just got to play a little bit. Drop the knee down, see if that makes it feel more here. If it doesn't, pick the knee up like I've done and I can roll back a little bit. You can even put another pillow or like a block under here and just sit back and now get to work on just trying to breathe. Once you found it, awesome. Let's spend a little time here. What I would like you guys to do from here is just work on just having fun and just being here, being comfortable. Like you shouldn't be short of breath right now because you're like, oh my gosh, this is too much. That is not how stretching works. Stretching's got to kind of be like that Goldilocks theme, right? Like it can't be too hot, can't be too cold, you got to be somewhere right in the middle, right? It's the same thing with stretching. If this is too aggressive, I'm not going to get there and you're probably going to feel a pinch. If it's right where it needs to be, you feel that tissuey feeling right here. That's what you want to feel. So if you don't feel this, hit pause and just take a couple breaths here, maybe raise the blocks up a little bit, but work on to where you can sit here for like a good, maybe, I don't know, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and just sinking into it. Every breath you take, you'll sink a little bit more into it. Okay, you just keep feeling that good stuff right here. All right, so we have to make sure we feel the right stretching because now we're going to get into the isometrics. With those isometrics, these are all about starting to build strength and control at this end range because we're stretching, so we're at our end range of motion of internal rotation of the hip. And this is how we're going to start to create that more rotation, which obviously means more space, which means no pinching, right? So these are called pails and rails, and they're fancy acronyms, and it doesn't really matter what they mean. Just know that pails means that you're contracting the tissue that is being stretched. So that stuff here, we're going to go make him work here. And then we go to do the rails, that's when we're going to feel stuff on the other side of the bone, all right? So what we're going to do, we're going to do 2 rounds of 20-second contractions. First off, we're going to do the stuff that's being at length. So right now, make sure you're good and solid. You're going to envision there's a weight scale underneath your left ankle. You're going to start to try to rotate that left ankle down into the floor. You're not pushing your knee down, you're just trying to swing the left foot down. And when you do that, at like a 2 or 3 out of 10, you'll feel that stuff back here that was stretching start to contract, right? Keep that. Let's hold that for 20. 19, just stay nice and relaxed. We're not going crazy here. This is therapy stuff. We can make this hard later in life. It's not necessary right now. Let's go for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. You relax, and you should be able to roll that butt cheek down a little bit more. But don't feel bone, feel tissue. Let's do that one more time. And push down. 20, 19, 18, 17. Just feel that good stuff. We're nice and easy still like a 3 out of 10. Let's go for 10 more seconds. 10, 9, 8. Feel the good stuff. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. You relax. Now it's time for the harder stuff, which is the rails contraction. This is where we're going to try to activate, which is what pulls us into the stretch. This is going to be unforeign territory for you guys. You're not going to understand what it means, what it feels like. But that's okay. This is why we do it. So I would come up just a little bit so your knee can touch the ground. Now from here, you're going to roll your hip forward a little bit, crush your knee down, and try to pick up your foot. It ain't going to happen. Just try. And you're going to feel a ball of tissue right here in the pocket. If you don't feel it, roll more forward. And see, now your foot can come up and see the stuff that's causing that right here. That's what you want to feel. Now keep feeling that and keep trying to lift it up as you roll back. Now you got it. Now let's hold that for 20. 19. So you're feeling right here. You're trying to pick the foot up as you simultaneously push the knee down. 15. Keep going. Just feel good stuff. If you feel like you're going to cramp, that's okay. Turn the volume down on your contraction. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. You relax. And then now, go back to that original stretch. Feels pretty good now. You got a little bit more space, right? We increase that rotation. Let's do that one more time. So knee comes down. You might have to roll forward a little bit. Try to pick the foot up. Feel the good stuff right here. If you don't feel it, you just roll more. Good. You got it? Now let's keep it for 20 and let's try to roll back while simultaneously trying to keep that foot up. 20. Keep Keep going. Just feel good stuff. Doesn't have to be crazy. Just keep trying to lift it. Keep trying to lift it. Keep trying to lift it. 10. Keep trying. I know it's getting fatigued. Your body's probably shaking a little bit because your body doesn't know what's going on. 5, 4, 3, 2. We relax. Now let's go find that nice, easy, original stretch. And it should be a little easier, right? Like your body understands what we're asking it to do. And that's really what all this stuff is all about. Is getting our brain to understand what stuff has to do it. That's the hardest part about teaching stretches. You got to feel the stuff. There's little nuances to it. All right, so ideally we'd want to hold this stretch for about another minute. So just sit here and just try to breathe. This is calming, relaxing stuff because we're going to come out of this in a second. It's going to feel a little raw. Don't freak out, but it's all good. All right, so it is time to come out of this stretch. Now at first, like I said, it's going to feel a little raw in your hip. I would come up, support yourself with your right hand, grab your knee, lift up, and as you lift up, you see how I'm starting to extend that leg out. I know your hip feels raw right now, but just breathe. It's going to come back to life here in a second. Adjust your hips, and then now I'm just going to hold here, and I roll my hip out, and I roll my hip in. This is just kind of bringing it back to life. But once again, what are we doing? We're increasing rotation. So this is kind of like almost like hitting the save button on our stuff. That is awesome. Good, good, good stuff. Okay, so let's kind of recap here real quick. So this full pails and rails sequence, which is what we did. So that's the stretch, the pails contraction, the rails contraction, and the stretch. This can be done 2 or 3 times a week, tops. These are pretty demanding on the nervous system, so you have to get a little bit of rest in between that. Now don't worry about trying to progress with any of this stuff. The progression comes because as we do these, your ranges are expanding, so you're essentially always training a new range of motion. So remember guys, it's the 2-minute stretch, 2 rounds of the 20-second of pushing the foot down, 2 rounds of 20 seconds in trying to pick the foot up. All right, and then we passively stretch for 2 more minutes. Take your time with this. It sometimes gets a little bit frustrating, but you just got to remember, you got to learn how to stretch it first. If you don't feel the good stretch, don't go to the isometrics yet. Make sure you do the stretch. I can't stress that enough, and that's why I sound like a broken record. Now, if you guys have questions or comments on today's coaching, please, please, please be sure to post them below. And if tips like this are helpful to you, go ahead, hit me a like or a share so I know what videos you guys want to see more of. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you're not missing out on all the awesome content we have coming your way. Until next time, guys, remember to be strong, be mobile.